When 28-year-old Jamal Rivers stood before Mississippi District Court in 2022 and swore under oath that he was unlawfully searched, detained, and denied due process, the judge barely looked up. The courtroom, quiet except for the shuffle of papers and murmurs from the back row, had already decided what many systems do long before any verdict, that a young black man, especially one without a lawyer, couldn't be trusted. I remember the judge sighing before I even started, Jamal said, recalling that moment. I knew right then they weren't going to listen. His claims were clear. He had been stopped while walking home from his night shift at a local diner. No warrant, no probable cause. A sheriff's deputy accused him of acting suspiciously and patted him down. Jamal refused to consent to a search of his backpack, citing his rights. He was arrested anyway and charged with obstruction. He spent 2 days in jail before being released on bond. His belongings returned with no explanation. The charges were later dropped quietly, but the arrest stayed on his record. Jamal filed a civil suit in state court, claiming unlawful detention in violation of his Fourth Amendment rights. He represented himself, citing case law and submitting detailed notes, timestamped texts, and even traffic camera footage showing him walking peacefully before the arrest. The trial judge dismissed his case, writing that there was insufficient evidence of misconduct and citing officer discretion. They treated me like I was wasting their time, Jamal said, like my rights didn't matter. But he didn't stop. He appealed to the state Supreme Court. Denied. Then, with the help of a civil liberties nonprofit, he filed a petition for certiorari, an application to have the United States Supreme Court hear his case. To his astonishment, the court granted it. I broke down crying when I got the letter, he said. I thought, finally, someone is going to listen. On April 2, 2025, Rivers v. Rankin County was argued before the 9 justices of the U.S. Supreme Court. Jamal was seated quietly behind his legal team, led by the American Civil Liberties Union and joined by amici briefs from organizations like the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People and the National Police Accountability Project. The case centered on a simple but profound question. Does refusing a warrantless search, and doing so calmly, constitute obstruction? The state argued that the officer acted reasonably under the circumstances and that Jamal's noncompliance created confusion. But Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson challenged that narrative directly. Are you suggesting that exercising a constitutional right creates probable cause for arrest? She asked. Her question echoed across legal networks and social media alike. On May 20th, 2025, in a 6-3 ruling, the Supreme Court sided with Jamal Rivers. Writing for the majority, Justice Sotomayor stated, "The Fourth Amendment does not require silence in the face of state overreach. To penalize a citizen for invoking their rights is not only unlawful, it is fundamentally un-American." The ruling set a precedent. Individuals cannot be arrested solely for refusing a warrantless search, absent threat or physical interference. Legal experts called it a historic reaffirmation of constitutional boundaries. For Jamal, the ruling was more than a personal victory. It was proof that persistence could pierce even the most institutional silence. I went from being ignored in a courtroom to hearing my name in the highest court in the land, he said, standing on the steps of the Supreme Court after the verdict. This wasn't just about me. It's about anyone who's been told they don't matter. His story has since gone viral. Civil rights advocates call him a modern-day David in a legal Goliath's world. A new scholarship in his name is being created to support law students focused on constitutional law and criminal justice reform. Still, Jamal remains humble. He's back at work, managing the same diner where he was once walking home in silence. I don't need applause, he said. I just needed the truth to be heard. Now, because of him, it echoes across the country, in every precinct, every bench, and every heart that's ever been told they don't have a voice.